What's this podcast titled?
Breaking news. The knot has been tied, and Donald Trump, the man who could not be killed.
Dang. Who came up with that title?
Who do you think?
Dang, CB.
The only man allowed to title it, man.
Ever since he got that new haircut.
Well, hold on. We're going to get around to Corn's new haircut today here in just a second.
It's not a cut.
All right, his new hair, his implants.
Way more in depth.
So we're going to get to that. Welcome back to the 307 podcast. We're glad you're here. If you don't know, we got Priest Cornbread over here on my right-hand side. We got Pope Chile on my left-hand side. We got the beautiful Biscuit behind the tech desk with the tech guy, Bishop Boy, count the money. I thought it would be good to start this podcast off with a special song that I think is fitting for our current situation.
You want the guitar?
Ew.
Yes, please. Hand me that guitar. I gotta. Now you guys might have to help me out with the words because you guys know I opened the door of my truck this morning and I spent the next 3 minutes wondering why the door to my truck was open. You remember that, Chili?
I do remember that. It reminded me, it was eerily similar to a December 2023 day of Joe Biden at a news conference. I was having flashbacks.
Is this thing tuned?
Hope you're all right, Bubba. Yeah, it's tuned.
All right. Thank y'all for keeping this tuned up for me. All right, here we go. Y'all can sing along if you want. I wish a buck was still silver. It was back when the country was strong.
Hit one, Corn.
Back before Elvis and before
Sing it,
the
Chip.
Vietnam War came along.
Merle, I like this.
Before the Beatles and yesterday.
When a
man could still work and still would. Is the best of the free life behind us now? And are the good times really over for good? Are we rolling downhill like a snowball headed for hell? With no kind of
Sing it, Corn.
chance for the flag or the Liberty Bell. I wish a Ford and a Chevy still last 10 years like they should.
Like they should.
Is the best of the free life behind us now? And are the good times really over for
Good job, Bubba.
All right. I just had to open it up with that on this beautiful custom guitar that my friend Nigel sent me. Here it is. If you haven't seen it, I'm getting pretty good at playing it. If you guys didn't notice while I was singing there, the chords I was strumming. This was supposed to be hung on the wall by y'all. Nope. I guess I'm afraid it's going to fall over if I set it right there. Why has nobody hung this on the wall yet?
You know who your true friends are when you start singing a ballad and the people that back you up in the vocals. You know what I mean? The people that don't back you up when
Like
you're
Corn?
singing a ballad.
No, I heard
It's-
Corn hit a note.
No, he didn't.
Chad was doing so good. Y'all was messing him up.
No, we were backup.
Y'all sound hideous.
Ever since Corn's got that hair, he thinks he's too good to do anything.
So,
Yeah.
Cornbread,
All right, sorry.
Biscuit, where did he tell you he went to
He
get
said
that hair done?
Istanbul.
Yeah, Istanbul, Turkey.
Yeah.
Istanbul. He was gone all weekend. He left Friday, didn't get back till Sunday night.
So that's where you were.
Are y'all ready to show it?
26-hour flight.
He hadn't been seen yet. You ready to show it?
He had what? Yeah, go ahead, show it.
I also
ready,
had
Corn?
LASIK. Yeah.
So you went to Istanbul, had hair implants, and you had LASIK surgery all done in a weekend.
Same day. Same day. The
He
next.
He keeps his glasses right beside him just in case the LASIK fails on
Well,
him.
I
at
mean,
any
it is
moment.
Istanbul, Turkey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same day.
Yeah, all in the same day. All in the same
Well, I'll
day.
tell you what, you look sharp, Bubba.
Yeah.
Where did they get your transplant hair from? King Jong-un?
I don't know. Well, this
It looked like
this
they
is
stole hair out of
this
King
is-
Jong-un's
this is
freaking
dyed-
crotch.
dyed camel hair. This is dyed camel hair. This isn't human hair.
Okay.
Camel hair lasts longer than human hair.
Was it painful, Corn?
Well, they gave me a bunch of sedative. What they do is they lay you in this big old cot that rotates, and they slide you up and in this humongous sewing machine, and it just rotates you at different angles, and it's just constant.
They put it in thick. I can believe it.
Oh yeah, that's one reason I
mean-
chose them.
They put it. They put it in shown up thick, son.
Yeah.
What was the doctor's name?
Kalamahusha.
Someone on YouTube said, "Is that Tom Cruise?"
Well, I
Kalamahusha.
No, it's cornbread.
Yeah.
Kalamahusha.
Yeah.
imagine being bald all your life. It's probably pretty hot with all that hair.
Oh,
now,
yeah,
ain't it?
it's big time hot.
You picked a bad time of year to do it, Bubba. You should
Well-
have done that in the wintertime.
Well, they don't do it in the wintertime. They shut the hair operation down in the wintertime
Okay.
in Istanbul. Yeah.
What did Ann say when you got home Sunday night?
Luscious. Luscious.
You look good, man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
She
I
just-
appreciate it.
She just said one word, luscious.
Yeah. The bad thing about this black camel hair, though, you can't dye it. So it's always going to be, when I got home, looked in the mirror, I was like, should have went blonde.
Yeah, because now you're stuck with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, black and red, that was a bad choice, man. I would have definitely went with another color. Who styled it for you, man? Because I mean, it's styled.
They had
Just
like
right.
6 or 7 styling. They was styling it while they was doing my LASIK. So I didn't really
Okay.
see. I just know it was 6 or 7 different Turkey women that was doing this
Turkish.
Yeah,
They were hands.
doing the styling.
Can they gobble?
Yeah. They have 6 or 7 different stylists.
Well, I mean, what's something like that cost over in Istanbul? Because I mean,
Blake's got the receipt. 307 paid for it.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
It's part of y'all's self-esteem
I
project.
just told him to email it to Blake. I didn't even ask him.
How
Well,
much
I-
was it, Blake?
The stuff's pretty cheap in Istanbul, and so that's one reason we had him go down there.
Well, that's why you double dipped and went for the both
Mhm.
surgeries in one.
And there was
3 surgeries, but it's really inappropriate to talk about the third one.
wow. I
now,
forgot.
it was reasonable. It's like $275.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Not
For
bad
both?
for a full head of hair. And
Corn,
LASIK.
can I please share?
LASIK was $14.
Can I please share the third surgery? I know it's embarrassing, but
Yeah, go for it.
so Corn's always struggled with his crack falling out of his pants, like when he bends over, because he has just an unreasonably high crack. So
Got
what
that back crack.
it was since he was the facility he went to, they offered to sew it up. So they sew up. I think
Sew
they
it
sewed up
down.
what, 3 inches?
Shortened his top
Yeah.
crack
Like
up.
Yeah.
she said, it's sew it down.
Oh yeah, they
Yeah.
sewed it down.
Yeah, they start from the top and go down.
I didn't know that was a thing. That
Yeah.
way, like going forward, you can bend over whenever you want,
That's right. Yeah.
and you don't have to worry.
There's
about
a
that.
lot of plumbers go over there. A lot of people in the trades.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
their main business. They just started this right here to like feel the off season and stuff. The hair.
In the winter, they sew down cracks.
Yeah.
But
Who's
Yeah.
the doctor that did that?
The crack, same dude.
What's his
He
name?
did it all.
He actually used camel hair to stitch it with.
But what was his name?
Mushala Shalu.
You can't even get your crack shortened in the U.S. You've got to go outside the U.S. to even have that done.
how would you know?
I've done research on it before. I forgot we had stood up this program at 307 Project. What did you call? What's it called again?
It's called the self-esteem program.
Self-esteem program. I forgot we had stood that up years ago to make sure, all of the team members feel as good about themselves as they should.
Well, I remember when y'all first came up with it, you set aside like $6,000 and it just sat in the self-esteem account.
Yeah.
I think Corn's the first one to use it, isn't he?
No, I used it once.
What'd you use?
I
it
had
for?
my dude lengthen.
Whoa. Whoa, Bubba.
I didn't say it. It wasn't me.
I didn't say what.
Holy smoke.
Where'd you go for that?
I don't even remember. I can't even remember when I opened my car door, man.
Don't remember where he went.
Mexico.
Yeah.
I bet he went to Istanbul.
Your dude is your second toe, just over from your big toe. You know how I was born, mine was shorter than my big toe, and I always wanted it bigger, longer than my big toe, like
Yeah.
Chili's is.
Yeah.
And so I had my dude lengthened. And so I'm like Chili now.
He wanted the dude the size of Chili's.
Yeah. So I got that second toe lengthened out.
And y'all say he's
I
funny.
felt better about myself ever since that happened. That's a good program we stood up. I highly recommend it.
is.
If you guys
It is.
own if you're an entrepreneur out there, you own a business, standing up a self-esteem program that
Self-respect.
your
Self-esteem.
your employees can partake in, because it's important that we all feel good about ourselves, especially in this world today. Okay. Who wants to say whatever needs to be said about Chile? Okay. Who wants to talk about that? However we're going to approach this topic.
Just give him a left-handed wave.
Oh yeah. Whoa! What's that?
Whoa.
Isn't
Whoa.
the Pope supposed to be celibate or something?
And then now you don't even got to say nothing. And there you go.
Hold on. Isn't the Pope supposed to be not betrothed to anybody but the Lord? Did you just lose your title?
Who are you asking?
No, baby, you're like, you
He's
are
betrothed.
way out of line right now. The Pope can do whatever the crap he wants.
Oh, he's putting on his hat.
Oh.
He's struggling.
Look, yeah. The Pope can do whatever the crap he wants.
Like Beetlejuice right now.
He looks like Beetlejuice. I mean, I just want to say congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Chile's married. Chile got married yesterday, and we're all happy and excited for him.
The people listening to this show, they're not going to believe it.
They're gonna think we're tricking them.
Yeah,
Look
they're
at-
gonna
look
think
at
we're
that
fooling
beveled
them.
tungsten on his left hand, son.
He is
They better
really,
believe it.
he is really
Looking
married.
crisp.
I couldn't believe it when he showed up with that ring on today.
LASIK fell in both.
What happened? What happened to you? What? Corn.
LASIK's for far away. This is for up close.
Well, they told me until I get acclimated to it to put my glasses on about every 3 minutes.
Yeah, intermittently.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, congratulations, Chili. How does it feel to be married? Because it's been a long time since I got married.
Mm-hmm.
How does it feel to be married?
How does it feel?
Yeah.
That's an interesting question.
Feel good?
Yeah.
It does feel good, don't it?
Baby, you are really doing a poor job at being funny today.
What are you
Like,
talking about?
You're normally
I'm
funny.
not trying to be funny. I'm having a dang conversation on the podcast, baby.
I'm just saying you might need to like slow down and get it together.
Corn's got his hat on.
That ain't gonna,
Dang, Corey's got his bangs popping out of his hat.
that ain't gonna work.
That looks good. It looks like you listen to strictly Blink 182, Corn.
That's right. My Chemical
Green Day.
Romance.
Yeah, Green Day.
Yeah.
Chili Jr. just keeps commenting no a bunch of times. He is mad. He's really mad.
Does he really?
Yeah.
So, Chili, is marriage everything you thought it was going to be?
Well, I've been married for a day, man.
Is it everything you thought it was going to be?
I've been married for a day. What do you mean?
You're supposed to say yes more than I could have ever imagined. All right. So look, I'm trying to set you up for these questions that are going to make your wife happy?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that's you see how you're supposed to answer these questions. Oh, when I say, is marriage everything you thought it was going to be? You know she's going to listen to this. You're supposed to say, oh my gosh, I could never even imagine how good it is to be married to
Yeah,
the woman
because
I'm
that's
married
how
to.
you're going to answer if someone asks you. I don't think so.
Well, okay. Well, Chile, now that you've been married for a while, do you have any marriage advice? Do you have any marriage advice for people?
Yeah, I think I do.
Okay, let's hear it.
I think I would say don't I guess it turns out there's a lot of reasons people get married.
Yeah.
And some ain't good.
A lot ain't good.
A lot ain't good.
There's only a few good reasons.
There's only a few good yeah, and I would just say if you find this is for men, I suppose. If you find the woman that you actually love, that you want to, that makes you better, that hopefully you can somehow make them better, if that's possible. I don't feel like I can, but I'm gonna try. And you feel like, when you know that you want to spend the rest of your life together pursuing the Lord and growing closer to each other, and then to me that's the reason you should get married, and that's why I got married. So that's the advice I'd give.
That was good advice.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Brooke and I did not get married for those reasons. But it developed into pretty much exactly that, right?
Yeah.
By the grace of God, you know. By the grace of God, it did. And so it's a wonderful thing. Marriage is a wonderful thing. I mean,
I agree.
I love being married, man. I love it. Now I would marry all the women. Brooke would still be my number one.
Here we go.
Biscuit, you would always be my number one. But I love being married.
Don't really matter who it is, but if you had your druthers, you'd pick her. But if it's like, well, could be anybody.
I mean, that's so wild.
He just loves the institution of marriage.
Baby, you need to move out to Utah and become a polygamist.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like what needs to happen.
Why is everybody so down on them polygamists, man?
Well, wasn't Abraham a polygamist?
A bunch of Old Testament guys had many wives. I think King Solomon had like thousands.
Lots of wives, lots of concubines. It seems like that goes against one man, one woman to me. But
yeah, they was directly bucking the Lord with doing that. Yeah, so I guess that's why everybody ought to be down on these stinking polygamists. They know they ought not be doing that mess.
You just like to talk about doing it, but you would never actually do it.
No. I've got the only woman for me. Biscuit, do you like being married as much as I do, Biscuit?
I do. I do wish I could be married to more men, but I'll have just you. You know, you're my number one, but if I could have more, I would.
golly.
Well, you can't.
Yeah, I just like a little diversity, you know. But I love being married.
Being married's probably my favorite part of my life.
It's a built-in best friend, partner, support, and meets your physical needs. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Look how uncomfortable he is.
Blake, Cornbread, do y'all have anything to say about marriage?
Chile gets really uncomfortable too with that kind of talk.
Cornbread's been married the longest.
Mm-hmm.
Blake, you got married about a year after me, didn't you?
Yeah. How long y'all been married?
We got married in 2012.
How many long that is?
October
How
will
many
be
long that is?
October will be 12 years.
12 years.
I think we might be 11 this year.
I missed Blake's wedding.
Did you?
Yeah. It was the rut in Fort Chaffee, and I decided I wanted to go hunt. So
That's all right.
yeah. Blake, Cornbread, do y'all have anything to add about marriage? It's a good topic.
So I've been married 22 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Almost, well, double.
Yeah. And when Chile was talking day one, you know, I was just thinking like every day is different. Or seems to have been every year was different, and it's just a constant work, constantly.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, just constantly. Not saying that's a bad thing, but if you're getting married, you just be ready to work. 100%.
Yeah, there are many times and seasons that you have to actively fight
Yeah.
for your marriage, for sure.
100%.
Yeah, I don't think people take that very seriously. You know, that's something they say at men's groups. You know,
Yeah.
fight for your marriage. It's like, man, you know what you're really saying? Like, no, man, there's a lot of seasons where you're going to have to actively, terrible fight for your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Call for it.
I'll say this too. I think some people may be confused too with, like you say, why to get married or what you should do and how you should do it and who you should be with and all that. It's like, I don't know, man. I can't explain it, but I don't, it's strange when you go your whole life being as selfish as I was and am. And it's bothersome because I still am that, but, and not that I've, whole life wanted to be selfish. It's not like I was always like, well, yeah, I'm selfish and that's a good thing. I'd like to keep being that. But like,
It's human nature.
meeting her and being with her, like, if like for the first time, it's a different level. Desperately don't want to be. I want to kill that part of me so bad. Like I never thought that I would. And I care about her. And once again, not that I haven't not cared about people. I care about all of you in this room and my family and everybody more than, it's crazy, but like, it's a new level that I didn't think was even possible of caring about somebody. You think you care before and you think you love, it's like, whoa. And I don't know. I think people are better able to discern when that's the case or not than they even give themselves credit for. Like, you're able to discern that when you really care that deeply and love that deeply. And, if you don't, then don't get married.
Yeah, I think you can discern that. I think that people don't wait for that though.
Yeah.
Because even in my utter wickedness and brokenness, when I met Brooke, Brooke and I, we broke up for about a year, right, Boo Boo?
Mhm.
Yeah, we broke up for about a year before we got back together. We were dating, then we broke up. And I literally missed her every single day for an entire year. And like, it wasn't like a easy breakup. Like it wasn't good, but every single freaking day I missed her. And, yeah, I think that goes along the lines of how I experienced what you're talking about. Like, I didn't want to miss her. I wanted just to move on with my life and be selfish again. Right. That's all I wanted. But just so many days go by. And it's like, when is this feeling of missing her? When is it going to wear off? Like, when's it going to stop? And it never stopped.
Yeah.
Aw.
So yeah, I think getting married is a big step toward selflessness if you endeavor to be the husband that God has called you to be. And then I think the second big step towards selflessness is having children, which Blake and Cornbread have both had children. Me and Brooke aren't having children, and Brooke and Chile and his wife aren't having children, so we probably won't never make it to that level. But would you agree, Blake, was having children a bigger step towards selflessness than getting married to you in your
yeah.
experience?
Oh yeah, big time.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, because I mean, then you're that when you ask what my thoughts on marriage is like. Yeah, be single, and it seems like fun, and you do whatever you want, but that's just all things you do because that's what you want to do. Then you get married, and then now you have to, whatever, get to whatever you want to word it, but you have to consider other people, what they're doing, and how they're feeling, what's going on, and then beyond that is the kids, and then it's like there's also a different part to your wife then. Like she is her own, but she's also a mom, so you have to care for her in both ways. And yeah, so it's to me it was much more. You can still do pretty much what you want to do when you're married. I mean, I think so. We were married for a few years before we had kids, and we enjoyed each other. We did things, but if one of us wanted to go do something, we just, hey, we're gonna go do this. Wasn't no big deal. But now with kids, it's like, well, you might not get to do it. They just might flat out not get to do it, or maybe you could, but it just wouldn't be right because you're gonna stick your wife with the kids for, however long you're gone, and that ain't right. So yeah, it's a much more, to me, was a much bigger challenge on being selfless than getting married. You think so, Corn?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially when they're little. I was thinking when you were saying that, how me and Ann went through those same things, and then now that the boys are older, one's since moved out, but the other one's older than the other, and we can still do whatever we want now because they're older, but we sort of look at each other like, oh, these jokers really did grow up.
Yeah.
You know, we find ourselves sitting on the porch a lot, like that stereotypical thing you think about old people just talking. You know what I mean? I think a lot of times we don't really know what to do because we don't have them to, nourish as much anymore. I mean, we still help them, and I think that's probably a lot to do with it too. Like we still are reserved in case they need some help.
Yeah. Ann did comment on here, Corn. She said y'all been married for 23 years and been together for 29 and wouldn't change a thing about it. He has been my biggest support through all my ups and downs.
Aw.
That's good. Yeah, I couldn't imagine having children.
I like how you spoke for me too and said I wasn't. Chad wants people to not have kids so bad.
Well, you do allude to that. I don't know that you ever just said that you weren't.
I'm just you just said, do you want kids? And I was.
Well, we all thought Chile would never get married for years and years, and then he just ups and gets married, and so he
That's
could.
how it happens.
He could
Bubba.
very possibly do the same thing with children.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that could very possibly happen. I mean, I mean, and you were only a year off, Corn. Come on, man, cut him a little
Ann's
slack.
being
It's
ridiculous.
only a year.
Come on, Beatrice.
Whoa.
That's her first name.
Beatrice. Yeah.
Oh, whoa, me.
Beat Rice.
Beat Rice.
I could not imagine having kids. I can't believe the human race hasn't went extinct.
But why not?
But why would you have kids? Like,
Well, it's essential
that
to
is
the existence of.
So the question is
humanity.
not why would you not have kids. The real question is why would you have kids?
But why do you say that? Is my question. Like, what are the things that you don't like? I'm not trying to convince you. I just like, why do you say that?
Like,
That's a great answer. The question.
everything. That's the answer to that question.
Be
Why?
specific.
Why? How about just say everything is the reason why I would not have kids? That pretty much sums it up.
You're pulling a Chili right now. You refuse to answer the question in a constructive way.
Chili.
Yeah, you do that crap all the time. I ask you a question, you give me some broad answer like that, and you won't give me any more.
Whoa.
Well, without the answer, I would have to assume that all the reasons are because you don't want to have to deal with it.
That's what I was thinking.
I would
That's
say that all
exactly
of them
what I was
probably come
thinking.
down to I don't want to have to deal with the worry of what would happen to the kid. I don't want to deal with the
that's it.
what they turn out to be or not be able to go do my Colorado Trail race.
Yeah, look at
'cause-
the obvious things too. Getting up late at night and having to give that little joker a bottle and changing the and doing all that mess. Yeah.
It's really not any of those things. I mean,
Well, what is? That's why I asked.
yeah, it's interesting.
You said everything. Now it's not none of those things.
You know, it's interesting that everybody goes down that road of like, oh, you're not having kids because you just want to be selfish. and
Well,
you
that's
don't-
why.
you
That's
don't
why
wanna
we're
deal with
asking.
it. No, actually, the reason I don't want to have kids is actually because of my selflessness. So you guys were on the opposite end of the spectrum. Y'all are on the opposite end of the spectrum. Do I really want to be responsible for bringing a child, another life into this crap show? I don't want to put that on nobody, son. I don't want to put that on nobody. I get mad at my mom and daddy all the time for having me.
That's not funny.
Look what I've had to deal with.
Good grief.
Look what I've had to deal with in my life. None of that ever happened if they wasn't so dang selfish. See, all y'all people that have kids, y'all are just selfish. Y'all want this little thing that you can raise up and, nurture and,
Show off.
show off and go hunting with. And so y'all, you see, now we're getting down to the truth.
Well, those are the good things. So then let me ask you, why would you get married? Why would anybody get married?
Because
his prowess is so powerful, Blake, he does it to stay out of trouble.
I'll tell you why people would get married, because man needs a helper. Man needs a helper. He don't need a kid. He needs a helper.
Well, what about when the Bible talks about being fruitful and multiplying?
Well, yeah, there's that.
So there are good things that come along with having kids, like the things you just mentioned. And there's good things that come along with marriage.
It is funny when you always say that part of what it says about having kids, and he just says, "Well, yeah." But
The topic will change soon after that one.
he says, "Well, yeah, it does say that."
Everybody always hits me with that one.
Well, look, there's one side of the story that's come. What about Brooke? Brooke don't want kids?
I don't think so. I did last year.
Had that itch.
Well, women are subject to emotions.
I'll pretend like you didn't just say that. Last year, I did start, like, it wasn't like I want kids. It was like a fear of missing out. And my best friend Kelsey had a baby last year, and I adore her baby. And that kind of did make me think, like, dang, when I'm like 50 and all dried up, am I going to be like, oh crap, I really wish we would have done this. So I went through a phase where I told Chad, I said, let's just not prevent it and just see what happens. Like, don't plan anything, because it's people.
It's
a lot of
idea.
Well,
You either want kids or you don't. Yeah, exactly. That's a terrible.
Me and
idea.
Ann didn't plan either one.
y'all
Well,
just
you have
left it to fate.
Yeah.
Because
Didn't
I
plan
think
either one.
I think Chad doesn't realize. I know for a fact he
Fate,
doesn't realize.
let's do this thing
Hold
that
on.
is
Can you be
specifically designed
quiet
to
for-
make children.
Can you be quiet for just a second? Most people, including you, Blake, most people have James's comment. Oh my gosh. Most people have to work to
Dad,
get
you should have
pregnant.
never had me.
Most people, can you please just be quiet for just a minute?
Sorry, baby.
Most people have to work to get pregnant, for like tracking their cycle and doing it on a specific day and all of this stuff. It doesn't, some people it comes easily, but most people it doesn't. So if you don't track those things and you don't intentionally do it on certain days, you're not likely at the frequency that we do in 12 years of marriage to get pregnant right off the bat.
Baby, that's what Andrew Huberman says. That's not reality.
It is too reality.
Sorry, but that's not reality.
I
That's
have-
just something that sounds good on a podcast. Ain't that right, Corn?
If your man's a stud, you will have a baby.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, exactly.
A stud. And
Well-
more than likely it'll be a boy.
So Chad ain't then.
What, Blake is it?
Because
he had
Blake's
girls?
a super stud.
He had girls though.
Yeah, that super stud.
Well, you just said if your man's a stud, you will have a kid, and Chad's not had a kid, and he went, "Yup."
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
You missed that comment, didn't you, Boo?
No, I'll agree with that. I'm definitely not a stud. No, I mean, I'm piddly as crap, man.
Wow.
I'm nowhere near the man Blake and Cornbread is. Nowhere even near.
Then why did you say last year when I was talking about that we can't do that because your sperm is too strong? And
Boo,
I
there's
would-
kids listening to this.
That was back before he leveled up.
oh,
Before I leveled up.
Oh.
So, yeah. So, anyways, I can't imagine having kids, man.
You know what I would like to talk about for just a second?
What's that?
When Chili was sharing about the being married and the love he felt that was new, like a new level of love he's never experienced. I was like reflecting on our marriage and how much that feeling has morphed and changed over time. And how I think, I don't know because I've never wanted to divorce you, but the people that I've been around who are talking about divorce or separation, that feeling changes. And sometimes it's seasonal, sometimes it's temporary, sometimes you just like, I feel like you and I are in a really sweet spot right now with like the way our love is and our care for each other. But I think I bet for me, we've had 7 or 8 different, just, I don't even know what the word you would use to describe like the dynamic between us. And like, I think if someone's new to marriage, it's just cool to know that like that feeling that is so fun and just so exciting is going to change. But it's just like, it's almost like it will change for the worse and then it'll change for the better. And then it'll get neutral and you'll be like, oh, I'm kind of bored. And then it'll get better again. And it's like a ride, you know?
Well, yeah, marriage is subject to the same growth curve that every other thing on earth is.
Right. But if that feeling that you have initially, or even in the first 5 years, starts to wane, that doesn't mean crap about your marriage.
Well, you're going to go through many seasons where you don't feel connected to your wife. You're
Right.
going to go through seasons where each of you change, and you're going to go through seasons where you don't have as much in common with each other as you wanted to, and you're going to go through seasons, all that, right? But all of those seasons that you go through, that's what actually makes your love for one another grow stronger and increase over time. It's the stress that's being put on you guys as this organism, these two people that have become one. It's the stress being put on you that's making that love grow and grow and grow. And so, yeah, I mean, without a doubt, my love for you is stronger now than it has ever been in our entire relationship with each other. But it's because of all of the seasons where it was either really hard or we didn't feel connected to each other or whatever it was, but we stuck with it anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. What do you think about that, Corn? Like just seasons?
Well, like I said, so me and Ann were together. I know she said it, but I can't remember. 6 years before we got married.
Use the restroom.
And what I found, me and Chili had a conversation when we was swimming the other day, and when we decided to get married, it was, hey, you want to get married? And she was like, yeah. So then we planned it out, and we got married, and it seemed as if everything was the same as how it had been for the 6 years. And then Buck come along, our oldest son, and it's like, holy smokes, a teetotal different whirlwind. And at that time, I was still drinking a lot when Buck come along. So my thinking about how my marriage worked in the early part has a lot to do with my drinking, especially when the boys were younger and as they got older. So yeah, it's the love, I would say, definitely grows in and of the fact that, like, what's going to happen to y'all is meant to happen by God. Not to negate the things that you do yourself that you're totally responsible for. And if you can realize those, hopefully together, then that just builds you up even more. So here recently, I mean, within the last 6 months, it's been a teetotal. Like, I would say it's more powerful than it was than at the beginning in the last 6 months, 100%. And that's with the boys both being older. Like, I could definitely say I put the boys way in front of Ann our entire marriage. And I've had to be, more present in making sure I don't do that. Now, I mean, let's be honest. They're young men. They need to be doing more things on their own without their daddy doing everything for them. So I put the boys in front of her since they were born. And I think realizing those types of things makes me look at her differently as well too. And not like, oh, bless your heart, I was such an awful person, but just like, I realize that. So try not to do it. So I see other things that she's doing and capable of too.
That's cool. What about you, Blake? How would you describe the way that you perceive the love between you and Caitlin changing over time?
Blake's being real tight-lipped on this show.
Well, no, I'm not. I mean,
Well,
Say
I do got to
whatever's
give
on
you
my
some. I
mind
do got to give you some
because-
credit, Blake. You are sharing a microphone.
yeah. So I think that's I mean, with any long-term relationship, it grows and develops and gets better. Like, people that have been in your life forever are closer to you than the ones you just meet. But then when you live with this person and you have kids with them and you've before God committed yourself to them, then yeah, of course that's the most powerful relationship you have on earth. I mean, you share everything with them, and so going through the hard times of life that everybody's going to go through is, of course, just going to strengthen that as you go on. So in the beginning, yeah, there's something that draws you to the person, and you love them, but you don't love them like you do 30 years down, or in my 15 years down the road, or just like y'all have shared. So I would agree with all that.
I think people should also be aware that there are going to be times. There will potentially be times where there is not a single ounce of you that wants to keep going with your marriage. Like, there will potentially be times where you reach the point where you say, I don't have enough strength to keep doing this. And there's nothing in me that wants to keep doing this. And usually in those times, all of the other people around you are also going to be looking at you saying, why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you staying with this person? Look what they've done to you. Are you a fool? Do you just like torturing yourself? So those times will potentially come. And I say that because if you're going through one of those times right now, understand that that is not unique to you, that you're not the only person who has ever felt that way. And I say that because I remember a time when Brooke was in a really bad place, and I felt like I didn't have enough strength to continue on in my marriage with Brooke. And I remember I called Blake and told him that. And Blake just told me the truth. He just said, that's your wife. You don't have a choice. And that's what you have to get through your freaking head, man. You don't have a choice, man.
And can I give context for like what you were up against was I was trying to get sober from drugs, and you had all these people who had seen me out and who had stole from, and like people who knew how bad I was, and you didn't know how bad I was, and you knew and everybody else knew statistically most addicts don't get clean. So like really the odds were not in your favor, you know, like going to rehab, getting out, and everything just being great. And like, I stay off drugs. Like there was very little room for that to happen. So that was a hard decision to make, to continue on, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was luckily I was saved at that point in my life, and it was very, very immature in my faith. Didn't have a deep relationship with the Lord, but I was saved, and I also had good, like Blake has always been just this rock that has existed in my adult life, that I've always been able to, Blake will just flat out tell you the truth. He don't care. I mean, if it's in a situation that, you know, has some meaning to it. I mean, Blake will joke with you and all, just like everybody. But if it's in a real situation, he don't care. He don't care about hurting your dang feelings. He's going to flat out tell you the truth, man. I don't know why. You've always been that way, Blake. So, just know that those times might come. You might be in those times right now. And man, you gotta, I had to flip a switch in my mind and say, okay, well, we're just going to do this until one of us dies, or it gets better or not. Well, we're just going to do this until somebody dies. What? You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, that's a switch that flips in your mind, though. When that becomes real, right? It's just not real when you say it to a lot of people, when they, you know, that's part of the wedding vows or whatever, traditionally, till death do us part. It's just not real when you say it. But when it gets real and you're like, okay, well, we're in this until this person either dies or it gets better, or maybe it ain't going to get better. And maybe we're just going to be in it for a long, long time.
You took quitting off the table, boo.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, and if y'all want to move on to a different topic, just tell me. But when we're talking about this, I'm thinking about like people who have biblical freedom to leave their marriage based on what's going on. And like, I don't think you and I have ever experienced something on that level.
Mm-hmm.
But the people in our lives who have chose to stay married, even though biblically they could leave their marriage and still be good in the eyes of God. I think that's really cool. I think it's really neat.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that those decisions and those circumstances where someone finds themselves in that situation in their marriage where, according to the word of God, that marriage can be dissolved. I think that those situations, you have to seek the answer. You have to be led by the Holy Spirit in what needs to be done in those situations, because there's just not a one size fits all in those situations. So if you are in that situation and you're, you know, whatever has happened, whether it's been an affair, which is the big one, and you have grounds to terminate that marriage biblically, because that's what marriage is. It's a union before God. You must seek the discernment of the Holy Spirit. Like that answer has got to be and will be provided to you. And that's the only way I can imagine coming to a conclusion in a situation like that, which is a situation that you and I, you're right, boo boo. We haven't had to face that in our marriage. Thank God. But yeah, nobody can answer that question for you. If you are in that scenario, nobody can say, well, yeah, you should terminate the marriage because you have the right to do so. Because that might not be the right answer, but it might also be the right answer. Because God, your Father, sees everything from the beginning to the end, and he knows what the right answer is. And I believe that if you are close to Christ, he will lead you to the right answer. I just have to have faith. That requires faith, right? So one of our Patreon questions was asking about that.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like I can't. That's the whole point of the Holy Spirit, the third part of God, this Almighty being. That's the purpose of God, of the Holy Spirit proceeding forth from God in Jesus, is to be your helper. That's available to you. You have a helper, and his name's not Chad.
Wow, good.
Yeah, I mean, does that make sense? Does that make sense to y'all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to me.
All
Does it,
right.
y'all?
Yeah, it makes
Okay.
sense. But I mean, anytime you're talking about discerning anything from the Holy Spirit, our human nature gets in the way, and it's still oftentimes unclear to us, or we make something that is clear unclear on our own accord. I mean, I think both could
Yeah.
be true, like that's just the reality of,
What do you mean?
I mean, I think both things are possible. I think sometimes things are just unclear for a very long time.
Yes,
And then
I agree.
And then even when they become clear, I think our own human minds can distort it and make it not clear to
Yeah.
us. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah,
So
I agree.
I don't. I mean, that's not the problem with what Chad's saying. I
So-
fully get it, but that is the reality of what he's saying. Is like we still don't.
So you need to be. I mean, that being said, that should be something that you're on guard
Yeah.
about. It's something that you should be aware of. No, that's all good stuff, and I think it's a relevant conversation. So, all right. So I cannot wait to get everyone's take
Oh,
on Big Daddy Trump. I cannot. I've been waiting to ask you guys all weekend, man, about your take on what happened to Big Daddy Trump.
what happened to him?
Well, he got half his ear shot off, man. Didn't you see him? He had that big
What?
bandage on his ear. Yeah, he got half his ear shot off.
What, did he go to Istanbul and shot off?
Yeah, yeah.
Donald Trump got
Look
shot.
like Evander Holyfield now, son.
Donald Trump got shot.
His ear got shot.
No, he didn't.
I don't know if his ear is considered Donald Trump or not, but his ear did get shot.
Each one of them are Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I've been waiting to hear y'all's. I know y'all have done a lot of research on this and been really looking forward to y'all's opinion on it. So before we dig into that, you guys know we got a few partners here, and this particular episode is brought to you by one of our partners, First Phorm. Okay, man, have you really not heard of First Phorm? There's some people out there who haven't heard of First Phorm. There really is.
Yeah.
It is wild.
Yeah. Well, you know why? You know how I know that? Because just a few years ago, I had never heard of First Phorm. And I remember going to like the grocery store and trying to find protein powder. And I probably tried dozens and dozens of protein supplements companies, right? And they all sucked. Like there was always something. They didn't mix good. Like, I don't care. You could put them jokers in a blender and you went to daggone take a drink of it and it tastes like you were drinking sand. They upset your stomach. You drink a glass of protein stuff and You fart for a week, man.
You fart for
Uh,
anyway.
You know, the taste was terrible. Just I never found a good one. Well, a couple of years ago, I met Andy Frisella, and he owned this company called First Form. And so I tried it, and I was like, well, this is what I've been looking for a long, long time. And this is their Formula One whey protein, and it hits all the spots, man. Tastes good, mixes well, sits well with my stomach, works. And the best part is the values that First Form stands for. American values, morals, principles. They have an amazing team. We love going out there to their headquarters in St. Louis. You never leave that place without feeling inspired to do more and to do better. That's just the environment that place breeds. I mean, and throughout, from the warehouse, whether it's the guy that's packing the order or whether it's the guy sitting in the front office running the entire company, everyone there is on the right page.
We got to go back.
Yeah. Jarrett hit me up the other day, wanted us to come back soon.
Now, do you like strawberry flavor?
I do.
You know, strawberry would be my second. Chocolate's definitely my first.
I thought you said anything other than chocolate.
Well, most, yeah, I mean, but I will drink a strawberry every now and then, right? If I don't have any chocolate. So, yeah, if you guys aren't just weak, piddly turds and you're trying to build some muscle, you probably need to get you some extra protein because it's hard to eat all the protein that you need to build muscle unless you want to eat freaking 30 chicken breasts a day. Ain't that right, CB?
That's right.
Get you some of this First Form whey protein. Check them out at firstform.com and just know that it's good people behind this product and you're supporting a really amazing company who's got the best product on the market. It's unbelievable that we're partners with First Form.
It's cool.
Like, that's really freaking cool, man. That's really cool. So thank you, First Form. Thanks for bringing this episode.
Don't be weak
to the
and puny. Get First Form.
I'm sure. I can't wait to hear Andy's episode on the Trump fiasco.
Now, hold on.
He
Before we get into Trump, I got some wisdom from little Virgil here. I just want to put it out because that people need to know this.
Yeah, I don't want to miss it.
He said, I'm going hands-free. Thank you, 307 Project. I can wash it as fast as I want. I'm not real. Grounded.
Little Virgil.
There you go.
Can we get, babe?
That's
Can
so
we get
wild.
that on a frame to hang up in our house, like a quote? You know, like live, laugh, love.
Little
that
Virgil is a
quote-
legend, man.
I can wash it as fast as I want. I'm not real. Grounded.
Grounded.
He is a living legend, man.
He's a poet.
Yeah, he is.
Dang.
Thank you, LV.
That may
Appreciate that.
feed into what we're about to go into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
Cornbread, we're going to start with your perspective on this whole situation, man. Because, you know, there's a lot of stuff out there. Was this just some random head that decided to go and do this thing? And or is this some kind of conspiratorial thing? And if it is, what's the angle? I mean, what is going on, Cornbread? What is going on? No, no. You look. You have got your educated opinion.
Right.
You have got, because you're the one that announced this to the whole team.
Well, I didn't
this.
allow it to Blake and Kurt
Or
and
me.
Brooke.
Corn-
They
what-
already knew.
What happened? No one's told me what happened.
Cornbread, you're the one that announced this because Ann messaged you and then you made the announcement. So you were just so giddy to be the one to break the news. So that's why
Chile,
we're starting with you.
Trump got shot in the face, but he's okay.
What?
That's what happened.
Like, are y'all being for real?
No, this is a joke.
Look, guys. All right.
No, he
We're
didn't.
starting with Cornbread.
Well, no, he didn't. But
I watched the press conference when said event took place. So I seen Trump grab his ear and be bewildered and went down to the ground, and all the Secret Service come around him. I've seen the map of where said shooter was at. The map where said shooter was at.
Yeah.
Where the other law enforcement snipers, Secret Service snipers were placed at. I also seen the video where numerous people that weren't in the major crowd of the rally, that were back away, that were close to that building where the sniper was, the guy that shot Trump, the cell phone video, and they're videoing him climbing around on top of the roof on his stomach, and they're hollering. There's a guy on the roof. Now, the video I seen is probably 20, 25 seconds tops, and you can see him clear as day. You can't see the gun,
Yeah.
but you can see him. He sort of gawks up at them and gets back down low and crawls around some more. And I read maybe 2 or 3 small just clips of how they possibly had him in sight for 3 minutes, and how they possibly was orders not to shoot him. So my biggest thing, being with a law enforcement background, and Blake can tell you the same thing. I'm not saying I know how the Secret Service operates, because I don't, but I do know there were other law enforcement there. Is in order to use deadly force, you have to have 3 things. They call it AOJ. That's ability, opportunity, and jeopardy. The ability, does this person have the power to cause serious injury and or death? The opportunity is the circumstances correct. And the jeopardy is, does he have the means? Like, all of those lined up. Ability, he had the power. He was up on, they all sort of intertwined together too, by the way. And each one of them, he had the ability. He's perfectly capable of getting up atop of a roof with a rifle. He did that. The circumstances, there was an ex-president there at a rally. He was on the roof with a gun. The jeopardy, he's on the freaking roof with a gun. All 3 of those line up. Now, if the little snidbits that I read were indeed true, and anyone even seen him for a split second, he should have been shot and killed for a split second, much minus 3 total minutes. So I have to have a grand educated assumption on AOJ to say somebody seen him and somebody chose not to shoot him to allow Trump to be killed. Now, how all of that's lined up, I have no idea at all. That's my grand thought on the whole thing.
Okay. Well, let's go down that path just a little bit then.
Okay.
So you just alluded to your opinion, given the evidence that you have been exposed to or you have seen. Your opinion is that somebody wanted Trump dead, and that's the reason this feller wasn't killed.
Yeah. Other than the person that was trying to kill him, somebody wanted him dead to say, hey, we're not going to kill him right now.
Okay.
We're going to wait on him to start popping off shots.
Well, who could that somebody have been? I mean, would it not have had to been the group of law enforcement individuals who chose not to take the shots, or the person who was in charge of them who told them not to engage that target? Would it not have had to been one of them too?
Absolutely. Yeah. It would have to. I wouldn't think that it would be the law enforcement people. I would think,
because I wouldn't think so either.
Whoever is the grand poobah that said, hey, don't shoot him, they were the person privy to the information that this is going to go down. And that had to come from somebody above them as well. Unless this person was just rogue and he's the one or she's the one that set it up. Unless that person was, and there isn't some extreme leftist agenda person that's pushing that person to make that come to him and said, hey, that we got this all set up. This guy's going to climb up here. Y'all don't shoot him until he takes his shot.
So you think that the goal was the legitimate goal was to kill him, Donald Trump?
If under the grand assumption it was true that they did indeed see him before it had to happen, and it's hard for me to believe that they didn't, with the amount of time he was crawling around on the roof from that cell phone video.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. If there was somebody out there who legitimately wanted Mr. Trump to be assassinated, why would they have chosen this 20-year-old head to do that job? And why would they not have equipped him with better training and equipment to actually do the job if that was the goal?
If they get some guy that nobody knows nothing about, it's harder for them to trace him back to them. If you get somebody like you, it's going to take a trained Navy SEAL. It's going to take somebody with some serious coercion, take somebody with some serious know-how, how to talk to you, how to approach you, and everything else to get to you.
Well,
to discuss that with you and so on and so forth. You're a known figure. In every Tom, Dick, and Harry comes up to you, no matter where we're at, this and that. That's not just going to happen at the angles. You know what I mean? It's going to take somebody that's at the angles.
The food mart.
I think if it was somebody that was trained in and of that sense, of that caliber, in that whole network of possibilities of people, that it's going to be traceable back. Okay, this dude right here was trained by the U.S. military, so on and so forth. Who are the people that know him? Who's been around him? Blase, blase. Somebody's going to know if somebody met with you.
so you're just saying they chose this person that they chose
was
to
a nobody.
to do this job because there was less risk on their behalf.
Yeah.
And they were just hoping that he was going to get lucky and get a hit with this pot shot he was going to take.
Not to discount his life or whatever, but he was a nobody. He's a nobody. Don't nobody know nobody that knows him.
I heard that,
Seriously.
I heard that this 20-year-old man was featured in a BlackRock commercial.
Yeah.
At some point in the past. Did anybody hear about that?
I seen a commercial that he was in for Pennsylvania University or something.
Well, I mean, I would comment, but I don't know.
What's
Chili.
BlackRock?
Come on, Chili. What is BlackRock, Chili?
Okay, here we go.
Thank you.
Well, let me just say, I don't know who this fella is that you're talking about, and I quite frankly don't know what anything about any of this.
Chili, you know.
Well, I know now, you just told me, but I can tell you what BlackRock is. Asset management. It's the world's largest financial asset management service, if you will. Like okay. BlackRock is what's buying all the dang farmland in America. They own the freaking world, man.
And houses too.
And houses. I've heard. What is it? Vanguard and BlackRock own about 60% of the single family homes. I mean, I just threw out a totally whacked out statistic, but it's something insane.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean,
so they are the enemy of private property ownership.
Yeah. Like the biggest problem with what we talk about, what I talk about, conspiracy stuff, is not naming the theys. Not naming who they is. That's the biggest problem with all of it. If you could do that in a better way than we do, other than just saying they or, well, BlackRock and, oh, well, the deep state and it would make everything that's said like this make way more sense and be way more true. Now, however, not that this is a cop-out, but the reason you can't always name specific names and individuals is because it's a deep web. And they do a very good job of hiding what they do and who their agendas are. Like, I remember having that conversation with, you'll know what I'm talking about, Blake, that individual who talked about people that stay in administrations like for years, for 40 years. And it's the same guy working for all the different administrations and presidents, and they never leave, and nobody knows who they are.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of figures like that, man. And there's a lot of figures like that within companies that have influence over the government. Like when I say that there's bipartisan agreement amongst politicians, it's because of this. It's because of these people at BlackRock and whatever company you want to say. Everybody's on the same page. Everybody. And that includes Donald Trump and Joe Biden. They on the same page. They are working for those people. There's not like a lot of people say, oh man, we need a third party. We need Robert Kennedy Jr. to run. No, man, we don't have two parties now. We don't need a third party, in my opinion. We have one. It's a Uni-Party. There are no political parties. It's a show. I don't think we need more political parties. I think we need less.
Well,
I think we need less than one.
People are going to vehemently disagree with you
They do.
about Donald Trump being on that same page.
Well, let me explain something to you. The question, do you want to read the Patreon question? Because I'm going to address that right now.
Yeah, I'll read it.
Okay.
So if you
it's
guys,
a fantastic, legitimately a great question.
if you guys don't know, we have a Patreon. That's where our biggest supporters contribute to 3 of 7 Project. Either $5, $10, or $25 a month. And every week we take a question from our patrons. We also do Resurrected over there. We do some behind the scenes content. We have a lot of fun over there. So Patreon.
Hey, how do you sign up for Patreon?
There'll be a link in the description of this episode.
Oh.
Where you can go, you can sign up, and it's just an app on your phone. And it's just like it's like a private social media app.
And if you don't know how to get there, go to our website and you'll be able to get there from there.
There
Read all about it.
So our Patreon question for this month, and Chile said he's about to talk about this. Y'all have asserted multiple times on the podcast that presidents, including Trump, are installed. But if that's the case, then why would they try to take Trump out from the inside? Is it possible that Trump might actually be an outsider fighting against the evil that exists inside our government?
Yeah. The first thing I would pose to that is, why do you believe that Trump is an outsider? I don't like, I have to first ask that question for you to ponder if you're wondering that same question that he is. Why do you view him as an outsider?
I would say mainly people view him as an outsider because the picture that's painted about him in terms of the way that he is persecuted.
He's always been intimately involved with.
He has had an interesting life.
Hillary Clinton's campaigns in the past, Bill Clinton's campaigns. I mean, he's been very intimately involved. I would call him by no means an outsider. They mean because he's not a career politician. Well, he's a career lobbyist in a lot of ways, which is more anyway.
Yeah.
I'll ask you that if you're asking that question. However, great question, because it doesn't square well with what I'm saying. If I'm going to sit here and say that I didn't know he got shot, but if I'm going to sit here and say that I believe it was also an attempt to legitimately take his life, not by a lone actor.
You believe that?
I really do.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, with what I know now, I don't know that for sure, but I actually do think that. Yeah. That doesn't, that's a great question, because that doesn't square well with the idea that I've been saying for years now that Donald Trump would be installed in this next election. Saying it for a long time, still believe it. Then you go, well, Chile, if you think that, then why did they just try to kill him? They're trying to kill him because they're not going to do that, and they're afraid he's going to win. Well, who's they? Now you're using the word they, just like I've done a lot in the past. You're saying, well, why would they try to kill him if he's not actually a force for good coming from the outside? Well, who is they? Is it BlackRock? Is it Joe Biden? Like, who do you mean by they? We talk about how well all of this is organized and orchestrated and planned and coordinated, and there's a push to a one world government, and all of these little pieces have to be moved in the right place to make this happen. Well, honestly, this is difficult to understand, but that can be true at the same time that there's different factions or individuals that have influence over certain things that can still get things done within that. Like, it's not omniscient, all-knowing people. I mean, yes, I believe that this is largely how a lot of this one world government is going to come to be, is through spiritual influence, evil.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, it's a plan that's going to happen, and some people are willing actors and some people are not willing actors, but there's things that can happen. Like, So I go back to Kennedy. Now, do I know whether John F. Kennedy was installed or not, or if any president was or not for sure? Well, no, I don't know anything. But Kennedy rejected a lot of quote unquote deep state things, right? He ended up being assassinated. I believe he was taken out by CIA, whatever you want to say. Now, part of why it seems like he would have been assassinated was because of things like Operation Northwoods. It's a very well-known, famous, declassified proposal that was proposed by the Department of Defense in 1962. They laid it in front of Kennedy, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and was like, we want to stage terror attacks on American planes and other American events and blame it on the Cubans so we can go to war and it will be more favorable in the public.
Yep.
And he just told them no. He was like, no, I'm not going along with that. And they were pissed, man. I mean, they were pissed. They tried 8 ways a Sunday to do it and all this, and it never could. However long later, he's dead. He gets shot in the face. I mean, seems like, well, dang, Kennedy must have been this good dude who was really fighting for America and trying to do the right thing and not controlled by the deep state and all this stuff. It's like, well, with stuff like Operation Northwoods and stuff that he shut down, he definitely pissed some people off, man. He pissed the people off that wanted to do that. He pissed some military heads off, the Department of Defense. There was disagreement there. That's not, I don't see why that nullifies the idea that Kennedy was still in office and things were still being done to move the whole world in the same direction, and that he was just a part of that, a pawn in that. Maybe it does. Maybe it means he wasn't that, but I don't know. Trump, same thing. I don't think he has to be an outsider for him to have tried to be legitimately killed by somebody. Why I think he was legitimately killed by somebody? Well, I guess I'm just going off of what Corn said because I didn't know he got shot. Was the way that the detail works from my understanding. And now this is where I got to be real careful because I'm real ignorant of this stuff. I mean, Chad's augmented the Secret Service on 3 separate occasions. I don't know what the heck the Secret Service even is. But when there's an event like this, they're working, it's Secret Service, it's local police departments, it's a whole security team that work in tandem. Well, there's a head of that, right? I mean, I know the director of the Secret Service is that lady, Kimberly Cheadle, but I don't know who was really calling the shots for that team, the whole team that's there, but that person, whoever that is, or that group of people that's calling that, has directives, man. And they don't need everybody to be on the same page. They don't have, I don't believe they have to have went to the local PD and said, we're going to kill Trump on this and you're going to let it happen.
Right.
That doesn't seem even remotely necessary. People, like you said, have to take orders, man. You can't just go to killing folks at a rally.
Yeah.
Like, you can't.
Well, yeah, if they're given the order to stand down,
right,
they're the guy on the ground is thinking, well, they must be giving me the order to stand down for a really good reason.
Yep. And I believe that's
like something's going, like I don't have the whole picture. I'm the guy on the ground. So if they're telling me to stand down, there's obviously a bigger picture that I'm not seeing. So that's what I'm going to do. Like, you can't fault the guy for making that decision on the ground.
Right. I believe that's what happened. I believe there was a few people who were in on the plan, if you will, and the rest were given orders to not kill the dude. I mean, like, to me, the biggest key piece of information that reveals that is they engaged the dude. I mean, I need to check this again because this could be incorrect information. But when local PD and whoever had eyes on him for 30 minutes to hours, they knew he was there. They knew exactly where he was. They knew what he had. They talked to him. I mean, there's video. I need to check it again. That they engaged him on the roof,
verbally,
received orders. All right, we'll leave. They were in the building that he was on. They were inside of the building that the roof that he was on. So, I mean, that's, to me, is clear evidence that somebody was telling them, don't take this dude out, and for a very good reason. I don't believe anybody making that decision would let it get to the point that dude got to actually taking the shots when they've engaged him that many times and knew about it, that they didn't intend for that to happen. I just can't believe that. I don't. By the way, this kid
was a 20-year-old man. By the way,
it was a 20-year-old kid. By the way, we don't even know that that's who for sure took the shots. By the way, we've all just went and agreed with that.
Well, that supports my theory.
Does it?
Yeah.
I don't have evidence.
Well, yeah, because there's an investigation that I'm
Yeah.
sure is being done, and the freaking bureaucrats aren't going to release the results of the investigation until they've got it all squared away and they've got the story they want painted and wired tight before they release it to the public.
I mean, I say all of this that I'm saying based on the information that they've given. I don't know that he's even who took the dang shots. He's a perfect fall guy. It's perfect. Like you talked about, why not get somebody better to take out Trump? It's the archetype that they use for everything, man. It's every school shooter. It's every, like when Dylan Roof went into that church and shot those people. I mean, it's the same person. It's this 20-year-old bullied, depressed dude on Prozac that they grab. The government or whoever you want to say, entities that are doing this, can take these people and convince them to do things. And they're just a dispensable asset that no one would question. No one would think. They think, oh, I was just a disturbed kid, a lone wolf. And then they get him to do the thing. You kill him, done.
Yeah.
Of course, he missed the shot, but.
Well, you said earlier you don't think anybody cares that he missed the shot because it can be done again.
It can be done again. Yeah. I mean, if whoever wants to kill Trump, they could do it again easily. They don't care that he missed it. It's no big deal. Like, you can do it again. I mean, and why?
Well, with technology the way it is, why wouldn't they just take a drone and go over Trump's private golf course while he's like,
well, do you
like,
not,
why are they
but
gonna?
do you not understand the difference in, like, you can't blame that on a 20-year-old kid on Prozac.
Yeah.
Like, that's why they don't do that.
Why
That's
don't they hit him with a nerve agent when he's traveling and say he had a heart attack? He's old as crap. There's so many ways they could take him out.
Hit him with a nerve agent.
You know, that's what they did. They do in Korea, you know. They have women walk up to men in the airport and touch them.
Yeah, those are valid questions, Boo.
Yeah,
but then you have to go to the doctor. Like I said, nobody knew that kid.
He's the archetype that it's the perfect dude to frame. I mean, it's perfect. And there's, if you don't, and once again, to support this, my idea that person exists, or that type of person exists, MK Ultra. You know about that, Corn?
Mm-mm.
It's the Manson stuff, where that was CIA operations to get people hopped up on LSD. They were doing experiments on people taking drugs and what would happen and all this. And it was the
Corpsewood was in on that.
What?
The Corpsewood guy, right?
On MK Ultra?
Yeah.
Were they
He
really?
was part of that. Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Well, dadgum. That's a big deal. I mean, MK Ultra is a serious thing that is still going on today, by the way. Maybe not MK Ultra itself, that was shut, but things just like it. And it's where they obtain these people, and they are then instructed essentially to do what these entities like a BlackRock or whoever you want to say. I don't know who was behind this, but it doesn't really matter. They can get these people to do whatever they want. I mean, you know,
it's not that hard.
It's not that hard.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
I mean, the Boston Marathon bombing was such a strange thing, like how that happened. And then they find these two dudes and they take them out. It's like, I'm not saying that this guy that they found was, and then that they shot on the roof was not the guy that took the shots. I'm just saying, I personally have not seen for sure that he was. That's just what everyone's went along with. I didn't see the video of him shooting. So I would not be surprised if that dude wasn't even the guy who took the daggum shot, but he was the guy. That's why they don't kill him another way. It's the perfect guy to say.
It's the perfect
and you have
guy
to kill
say
him.
This was a random occurrence.
And you have to kill him too, because that's why they're dead, because there's no evidence that he was ever involved with any government, like that they had grabbed him and secured him for this purpose if he's dead. So they're going to kill him once the work's done, whether it was successful or not. But
no evidence other than he was on a BlackRock commercial.
yeah, Yeah. And they keep some of them alive, right? Like, I think Dylan Roof was kept alive, and I'm not saying that was not a lone actor. That was just a random a shooting. I'm not saying they're all, but it's all the same person. So it's a perfect person to grab. You grab that archetype to do your bidding. I'm not sitting here saying every shooting is staged or whatever or planned, but it's just you're going to use that individual. And like you said, this dude apparently was in a BlackRock commercial. I've never seen that, but I don't need it. I don't need him to be in a BlackRock commercial to know that he's what they want.
Yeah. So
registered Republican though.
Yeah, I heard that too. So Chile's saying that it was also in congruency with Corn. It was an actual attempt to assassinate Donald Trump. But Chile's layering on there he's going a little deeper and saying that there are multiple different power players in the world, and some of them have different ways that they want to achieve. They all want to achieve the same thing, but some of them have different ways that they want to see that come about.
Ultimately, what I think has gotten lost in some of what I've talked about with presidents being installed and everything is what's going to happen is going to happen regardless of who's in office. That's ultimately what I'm trying to tell you, is it does not matter.
Yeah.
And there's people who will go about it in different ways. Like, they're all pulling the strings. They're all moving pieces around, playing 3D chess. So yes, I believe truly that like there was a plan in place. Once again, that's the problem with everything you say, is I said by them. But to have Trump be in office, it swings the pendulum back. Perfect. He don't need to be.
Yeah.
He don't need to be. It could be like, because here's the deal. You can't control fate, man. You can't control reality. Like, as good as they are and as much as evils can, like, Trump could legitimately die today. And then JD Vance could die. And then you get down to whoever, like, I mean, that could legitimately happen without conspiracy. And then you're like, well, that threw the whole plan off. That's the thing, man, is we think all this unification, moving to a one world government is actually contingent on who is the president. Like, oh man, they got to get their guy in. It ain't, man. That agenda will move forward, whether it is Joe Biden or Donald Trump or freaking me as president. It does not matter.
Yeah.
Like, I think Trump was going to be put in. Like, that's just a separate piece. That's just like a prediction. It don't matter. Like, him getting put in it means like nothing really changes. It might look a little different, but the end goal will be the exact same.
Well, him being installed in office actually accomplishes the same goal of moving in the direction of a one world government, because it continues to perpetuate the division of this nation.
Yeah.
And there's just no way around that. The nation is divided, and Trump is the perfect player to even deepen that division to a whole new level. And especially now.
Yeah.
After what's happened just over the past few months.
Yeah, he is. I mean, it's perfect. But does he need to be the one put in?
I would agree with you on that. I would agree with you on that.
It's not necessary.
Yeah. You know, I'm kicking it over to Blake next, because Blake has a theory, I think, that it wasn't the actual guy on the roof that was taken out that actually took the shots. So we're going to hear from Blake here in just a second.
It sounds like a radio show.
It does, yeah.
But I do want to make a comment right here in light of Chile's explanation here and talking about who they is. We imagine in our little minds that these bureaucracies like the CIA and the FBI and the ATF and all of these bureaucracies, and even we imagine that the government as a whole, as the umbrella, parent company that controls all these bureaucracies, we imagine that it is this separate entity, right? We imagine the government and all these bureaucracies is this thing to itself, and they're doing all this stuff. The truth is, the government and all of these bureaucracies are being controlled by private individuals. Okay, so it's not separate. It's all being controlled and manipulated and driven by private individuals. And we can't get that through our heads because as Americans, we see this delineation between the private citizen. Now we do anyways. There's this big wall between us and the government. It's become that, right? The government is bad. It's us, it's the people, it's the private citizen, the American, and the government. Like that's what it's become, but it's not that. The government and all that happens, that's all being influenced by these powerful private citizens that are nameless, by the way.
Many, yeah.
But they control things by many different avenues. I would say money being one of the biggest. So stop imagining that there's this separation and that the government is this standalone entity that's operating according to its own plans and its own will, and it's not receiving input from private citizens or private people from around the world. Essentially, they don't even have to be American citizens, private people in the world. So Blake, on to your educated and well-researched opinion.
You know it is.
I guess you're going to talk about the guy on the water tower, Blake.
Well, I'm not going to bring in that information. That would draw too much attention to myself.
I gotta go pee.
Again?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to pee after this one. So this is my theory here that it wasn't actually an attempt to take Trump out. This was brought on by Trump. And that he wasn't that guy wasn't the shooter, but they couldn't kill him before the shot was fired, you know. So he didn't actually shoot. There was a very skilled marksman in an unknown location that took the shot, particularly on Trump's ear, to promote and get him all this attention and get him this big photo that he's got, you know, of him up there with his hand in the air, that Hollywood photo. And the other guy was the scapegoat because they had to blame it on somebody. A guy like that. Yeah, you got to blame it on somebody. They couldn't have just said, oh, his ear got shot. We didn't catch the guy. We don't know where he went. And so just short like usual, but that's my, you know.
Well, I will say, I have seen a picture of who some people were claiming to be the guy who took the shots. And it was not the shooter that the media, the guy that was killed. I will say that. Now that was not well sourced, but that was fascinating to me. I don't know what's up with that. I'm not convinced that dude was
who
took the shots.
Yeah, he was
legitimately. I'm not convinced of that. But maybe he was.
He was.
That's your theory, huh?
He wasn't.
You think it was the guy on the water tower, Blake?
Well, I can't talk about information that's not out there.
You think he had a tremor reticle?
Well, I can't talk much about it, but I'll just tell you the guy on the roof with the piddly equipment was not the shooter. There was a much more skilled marksman that took the shot, and he hit where he was aiming. He did a good job.
You think he hit where? I mean, you think that was?
Yeah.
Now you're getting more along the lines of what I think happened.
Yeah,
Blake.
he hit where he was aiming, and the other guy was just the scapegoat. There had to be somebody.
That dude was definitely a scapegoat, no matter how you look at it.
But yeah, he had inert ammo. He had just, you know, noisemakers if he did anything.
How'd they get him to go up there?
Well, where was the?
They told him. They said, "Look, we got this." The dude was a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
And they said, "We got this rally, and the Secret Service needs help. You need to get up on that roof and make sure nobody, you know, make sure nothing goes on."
I wouldn't be surprised if they told him
I'm
something.
on it. And that's why when they asked him, they said, "You leave us alone, buddy. I'm making sure this place is secure."
Holy crow, Blake. Nobody has brought that out. Nobody's even thought about that.
No.
What about that?
What, that they told him that he was providing extra detail?
What about that,
sure
buddy?
they did. Yeah.
Do you think Trump's got big enough gonads to stand up there and turn his head and let that dude take a shot at his ear?
Yes.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. Now I could see him Ric Flairing himself. You know, when Ric Flair get hit, he'd take that old razor blade and cut his head open.
Well,
I
now
could
we
see-
talked about that.
I could see him falling down and maybe punching a hole in his ear with a hole punch.
We talked about that.
Or something like that.
Yeah, because that was your original theory,
Well, it wasn't
Chile.
a theory. I just said, well, how
And
nice
you-
would it have been if the Secret Service jumped on him and said, "Let me nick your ear before we knock your shoes off, Trump."
So
I
that,
don't know.
dang, Blake, you just brought out something brand new, Blake.
And people on YouTube, they're really mad about that theory too. They're
About your theory?
extremely mad
Of
about
course
it.
they are,
Yeah, really mad.
I'm going to tell you
because they just believe the mainstream media. That's why
Yeah.
they're mad.
Smooth brains.
there are people out there who are good enough that at 1,000 yards they could just skim the side of your head.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
They are that good.
I definitely believe that, and know that, but I don't know of any one individual. So I'm sure you know some of those people. Would you stand there and let them take a shot at your ear?
Well, I'm not Donald Trump. I'm not Big Daddy Trump. Let me tell you, Big Daddy Trump got a set on him, son. He's going all the way.
Well, where do you think there was 3 shots at Trump? There was 3. What? All 3 came from the water tower?
Those were echoes. There was
No. There was
there
3
wasn't.
shots.
No, there wasn't.
Okay.
Well, one of them killed that other innocent guy.
I know that.
terrible.
Yeah, it's horrific.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, there was
awful.
3 shots. 100% there was. So I want to know where all 3 came
You
from.
ever wondered why I ain't never been to a Trump rally? Maybe you're starting to understand now.
There's one reason.
Maybe look, I ain't getting involved in that crap. I ain't getting involved in that crap.
Did you see the people in the front row when he stood up with the Secret Service that were just screaming expletives and flipping them off?
Wait, what?
That's a strange part of that video. There's like the front row rally crowd when they stand up, when the Secret Service stands up with Trump. There's like these old dudes in MAGA hats being like, "Oh, screw you," and flipping them off. I mean, I don't know. It's a weird. Nobody pays attention to that either. It's a weird part of that whole scene that, like, right as he's doing the epic photo, they're like, "Oh, bleep, 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 bleep." I mean, I don't know what's going
Okay,
on. With that.
let's talk about that photo real quick. Blake, you got to use the restroom. I give you.
I'm gonna go ahead and go. Thanks, Bubba.
I give you permission. Let's talk about that photo real quick.
It was awesome.
What a photograph. I'm talking about will probably go down as the most iconic photograph in the history of our lifetime.
It's a good thing there wasn't another shooter because when he poked his head out for 5 seconds, it was rife for opportunity. But to take that photo,
I'm talking about how do you capture that photograph? Now look, anything could happen, right? But
Chad thinks it's staged.
but to have a photographer in the exact right spot at the exact moment with a good camera
Oh, it's so crazy.
to look up and capture this photograph. Like, come on, dude. Like,
Well,
what about that?
Well, I haven't actually said what I think really happened. I've just thrown out theories. Now, what's interesting to me is there was an article Trump's ear was still drying the blood on his ear. And an article came out about the photographer who took that shot and how he got it. Like it was ready to roll, buddy.
Really?
Yeah, that freaked me out, man. It was just like 9/11 with those interviews with those people who had it basically before the dang plane even hit it.
Right.
And they're asking them what happened and they know all these details. I mean, this dude was like, "Man, I was there. I had the shot." They were like, "How'd you stay so calm when the shots went off?" Well, I did that. I've been in war-torn areas before, and as soon as the shots went off, I just hunkered down and did my job and pointed the camera up and all this stuff. I mean, it was ready to go immediately. And that sketched me out bad. So that kind of lends itself to a little show, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, a little show orchestrated by the Trump team.
DT.
See, which is completely contrary to you guys' theory that it was an
Yeah, yeah.
actual.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
attempt.
I mean, I'm just what I said and what Corn was saying is how it could be a planned thing.
Now,
Like you
Corn,
could do that.
do you want to talk about the other theory that you had
What's that?
about the head wound?
No, I don't want to get into that. I'm not researched up enough on that. But if
Okay.
that's the case, I'm going to be ticked.
You gotta say the line.
What is it, Corn?
You gotta say.
I'm not
Look.
researched up enough
but
on
Well,
it.
look,
I
you
know.
don't you don't have to be researched up enough on it right now.
But just say the line.
Just throw it out there, man.
You know the Antichrist is going to have a head wound.
I know. Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying.
No, but
No.
but
And
but say how you'd feel.
If Trump's the Antichrist, I'm going to be pissed.
You know, and I am really surprised that no one
Nobody
has brought that up.
It's the
I'm really
That's
surprised.
the first thing we said.
Yep. So that's I actually went back and looked at it. It's in Revelation. I forget what chapter, but it's literally the first thing that I thought of before I knew how insignificant the wound was that he had sustained. But when you go and you read that in the book of Revelation, it is obvious that the wound that is
Catastrophic.
sustained by the Antichrist is a fatal wound.
Yeah.
That is obvious. Yeah. But I'm really, really, really surprised that no one has brought that up and tried to make a case that, oh no, this is what it's what it's actually talking about in the book of Revelations, and that Donald Trump's the Antichrist.
It's the first thing we thought of.
Cannot believe how has none of these idiots brought that up?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's the first thing we said, and when you said you'd be so pissed,
Yeah.
I would be too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, like the Secret Service standing him up and pausing for that shot. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
And a photographer being in the exact position.
But did you notice
To
there
take
was an
that
American
photograph.
flag in the
Oh yeah.
background too?
Oh.
And a bald eagle.
Shut up.
That's what it reminded me of. You know, you see all those pictures of Trump riding an eagle
Yeah.
or riding
Yeah.
a lion.
They made one happen.
with cruise missiles coming over his back.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it reminded me of.
It was
Yeah.
wild, man.
All they needed was a stealth bomber up there or something like that.
Wild photograph. Well, does YouTube want to hear what I think?
I think they do.
Yeah, they want to know what you think
YouTube.
happened.
YouTube, let me know. Well, I've done a 3-pronged series, a 3-pronged truck talk series on this event. All right.
Yeah, but you never talked about the photograph.
No, I never did. So my goal with my 3-pronged truck talk series was to give people a logical explanation that, hey, I do believe that there is a way that this thing could have happened the way it happened, the way it looks like it happened, that there was just some random deranged 20-year-old guy who was a dummy who had been influenced by the vitriol that's been said about Trump by the media, and how he's a threat to democracy, as if we lived in a democracy, and how he's a they've compared him, I think, even to Hitler and all these things, and that this young man had been influenced by all of this vitriol, and he said, okay, well, I'm going to do the world a favor then. He believed all that stuff. And so he went in there and he tried. And that's what the truck talk today was about. How did this 20-year-old guy get within 130 yards onto this rooftop and get this shot off? Well, you know how he did it? He tried and he did it. And I make the point in truck talk today that things are not what you think they are. All of these, whether it's government, whether it's Secret Service, whether it's military, all of these power players and these powerful organizations, they are not wired tight like you think they are. So people say, how could this guy have got in? He just tried and it worked out. Like, I get that, man.
Oh yeah.
Because I've seen it all from behind the curtain. And all of these organizations that civilians look at as like, this is the most elite, personal protection unit on the earth, being the Secret Service. No, it's not that. It's a bunch of flawed people who are trying to control a bunch of chaos at all times. That's all it is. So how do you do it? He just simply did it. I've told you guys, and I've told people a lot of times, and people don't believe me. You give me 10 men who are well-trained and well-equipped. You give me some time and the element of surprise. With 10 men, I could sack any major city in the United States. You give me 100 men, same, well-trained, well-equipped, element of surprise, and time, I could sack any state. You give me 1,000 men, I could sack the entire nation. And it is because none of the things that look impenetrable, none of these things are as durable as they look. It's a picture. It's a facade. Government paints the picture of power because they want you to think that you can't do anything. Right? Law enforcement and these bureaucracies paint this picture of power because that's their best defense. Or no, that's their best offense. That's their best offense, is to paint this picture of power. But everyone that's part of that organization knows that if the right people push back in the right ways, it would crumble. It's the same with government. If the right people pushed back in the right ways against the government of the United States, it would crumble because it's not as durable and impenetrable as the picture that they've painted it to be. Right? So I've given all of this logical, explanation of how this could have happened. And, well, they saw him for 3 minutes. Why didn't they take him out? They knew it was there. Well, that could have been conflicting word passed over comms. Somebody said they saw this guy. Well, did he have a gun? Well, somebody said he had a gun. Somebody said he didn't have a gun. All that stuff being passed over comms within a 3-minute time span, it can get really jumbled up and confusing to the man on the ground, right? He hears something. Oh, he has a gun. But then he hears something over comms. Well, no, somebody else said no, they didn't see a gun. And so that could happen. It's just confusion, right? That could very potentially be the case. So I do believe that this could have happened the way it looks like it happened. Could have. But if I was going to go down the road of illogical thinking, I would disagree with both of you guys. I do not think that it was an actual attempt.
Oh, no. Don't disagree with me. I went down the road of explaining how it could be the opposite of what you said. Now we're meeting in the middle here, Bubba.
Okay. I do not believe that this was an actual attempt to assassinate Donald Trump. That the plan was never for him to actually die or be killed. All right. This was just another thing that has elevated him now to the most epic status of any human being alive on the face of the earth currently. Can we just take a moment before I go on to acknowledge the way this man responded? Right? This man has, I assume, never been shot at before. He has no.
Well, he went to military academy.
Yeah, he has no military background. I remember I said that on Truck Talk, and like 100 people commented. He went to a military school. He went to. Do you understand what they do in a military school? They teach you how to freaking make your bed and fold your clothes, dude. That's the difference between a military school and a regular school. They teach you how to fold your clothes and how to dress properly and maybe walk in a line with people. Okay? This joker gets a daggone, gets his ear shot off, and he has the presence of mind to hit the deck, take cover, Everybody dog piles on him, and he's so calm. All he's talking about is, hey, let me get my shoes on, man. Hey, buddy, let me get my shoes on. Listen, you can hear him saying it. He's so calm. That's all he's worried about is let me get my shoes on. And then they stand him up and he tells them all, oh, wait a minute. And he sticks his head out of cover and does his poses for his iconic photograph. Now, come on, buddy. Now, come on. Look, I am personally a trained warrior. And if I'm on a stage and somebody falls to shooting at me, I ain't worrying about my shoes. I ain't worried about you getting your photograph. If I don't have a gun on me to return fire, I am getting down off of that stinking stage, son. Come on, dude.
Chile,
I love it so much.
calm down.
Do y'all see what I'm saying?
I see what you're
Do
saying.
y'all
yeah.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, how would I react if I was on that stage and I knew all this was about to go down?
You'd say, let me get my shoes and
Yep.
let me pose for this photograph.
How would I react if I was up on that stage and I knew that I had the best team in the world that had put together this scenario, and I had the best shooter in the world sitting up on that water tower, and we had done paid him $3 million to take this shot. And he knows if he'd messed this shot up that we was going to come and kill him and his whole family. And I knew all this was going down, and I heard that shot go off, pow, and it just barely skimmed my ear. I was like, heck yeah, buddy, boy, we pulled this one off, son. We got it done. Now, hold on. Cameraman, you ready? All right, stand up. All right, hold on just a minute, guys. You get that picture? All right, let's head out.
That's why they filed on him for so long. That dude had to get in the position for that photo.
He did.
He was down there rustling with his camera, and he was like, all right, I'm ready. That's what it was, man.
You know, I wondered for the longest time, why in the crap is Donald Trump waiting so long to announce his vice president pick? And you know what's this guy doing, right? This dude is a freaking genius, man. And I think he's got people around him that are genius. Now, whether they're for America or not for America, they are genius. And they have just done something that literally now there is a 0% chance that he will not become president unless he dies.
Well, so, I mean, do you think that was Trump's team, or do you think that was the big plan at large to install him, to make sure everyone was like, oh, well, now everyone's on board with this, and that's what we wanted? Or that was Trump's idea to just try to get elected? He needed to do this to legitimately get elected.
Oh, no. He didn't get elected. That's a joke.
You see what I'm saying?
He needed to do this to get votes.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
He did this for votes.
He did this for votes, yeah, because votes matter, right? The only way to get elected is to get voted in, right?
Literally everything that you see and consume is to manipulate you. Everything.
Yep.
I mean, literally everything is.
Yep.
It's not about getting votes. It's about changing the way you think.
Yep. So
dang, man, you think he went out WWE style, huh?
Oh yeah.
It was a show.
I mean, what an epic show. What an epic show it was. I mean, you can't even make this crap up. I mean, the dude is a genius.
What do you think, Corn?
I don't know nobody that's going to stand there and let somebody take a shot at their ear.
How confirmed is it that the bullet hit his ear?
I haven't heard.
You know what I mean? How do we know he did? I mean, did it hit his ear? I'd let a trained sniper take a shot at my head if they said we ain't even gonna get it real close. You just got to nick your ear when you get
Yeah.
on the ground. I'd let them do that.
Yeah, now I could see, like I said, him boogering up his own ear, or one of the Secret
Yeah.
Service people
Yeah.
boogering up.
Now, I
his
don't
ear
know
for him.
that detail, whether it was a bullet or a razor blade or a
Because
hole punch.
I'd let you take. If you
Yeah.
said I'm gonna take a shot and it's gonna hit you in the ear, I'd go no. You might
Well,
be
yeah,
an inch
because-
to the left,
because
but
you
I'd
got
let you be
some-
just shoot in my vicinity if you were that way. Oh yeah,
But Chili, you got some little baby ears. Trump's got them lonies. So he was totally cool with it. You know what I mean?
I mean, it didn't look like a bullet hit his ear, but maybe it did. I don't know.
So I'm sure that everybody is really mad about my take on this conspiracy.
Well,
I'm mad that we just wasted an hour of a podcast talking about this dumb crap.
we've presented multiple angles of this whole story. I mean, pick one.
Yep. Pick one.
Pick one.
This is just a massive
Lone wolf?
distraction.
Big deep state plan. Trump faked it. Or in Blake's, I don't even know what to call Blake's.
Blake's is a hybrid.
Yeah. Blake was just his heist with no motive. There was no motive in Blake's plan.
Oh no, no, it's just to put on the show.
Yeah.
American entertainment.
And people will say, well, so they killed somebody for a show because somebody did
They
die. What
2 people died.
quite often.
do you like really? Are you really asking that question? Are you really asking that question?
But what's the purpose of the show? Anytime something goes down that like the country just goes crazy over and everybody's talking about it. All the journalists are focused on it. Everybody's attention is on this event. What is happening? Have y'all ever noticed that? That's when the government does some slick crap with other countries internationally. And
I don't buy that.
I do. I
Okay.
think
No, I don't.
They
I
don't.
don't.
They
buy
don't
that
need a
either.
time like this to do anything.
No.
You could. I mean, you telling me they couldn't slip something in
This
on any day? I mean,
this is
I don't
this
know.
is all so that when they do install Donald Trump,
yeah.
everybody says, "Well, obviously he got elected.
That's exactly why.
Obviously he got elected. Like everybody knew Trump was going to win this
That
election
was-
by a landslide.
That was the whole
That's
point.
it.
whoa.
Well, it's ridiculous, man. I mean, that was the whole point of why they switched on Biden. It's everything.
Yep.
We want there to be like you believing that your vote matters is very important to them. Like they,
100%.
they
yeah.
care that you think that
Yeah.
it matters and counts. I mean, they care deeply that you do. And
You know, they care so deeply. That goes back to what I just said earlier. They care so deeply because they know how actually weak their facade is. So they have got to keep you thinking that you have a say. They have got to keep you pacified because they know that if even just 1,000 of the right people united against them, that their power would crumble. They know that. They're not stupid. They know how weak their facade of power is. So yes, you're exactly right, Chili. Yeah. Them convincing you that your vote actually counts. Yeah, they will maintain that facade at all costs.
Yeah,
at all costs.
yeah, we talked about Trump being installed a long time ago, and now the turn on Biden. Don't be surprised by any of it leading up to November. Don't be surprised by none of it.
Yeah.
How could Trump have won in 2020, man? He was, you know how bad he was? He caused the plague to come on us.
Yep.
How could he have won in 2020?
Exactly.
But now,
Look how he
I
reacted.
mean, but look how it's changed now, though.
Mhm.
I mean, he's turned a new leaf.
Of course he'll be elected.
He's turned a new leaf. Joe Biden can't talk.
Yep.
Trump's actually a good guy.
Yep.
I mean, if you can stand up and say, fight, let me get my shoes, you're a good guy.
Well, if you even know your shoes came off.
Shot him so hard his shoes came
Yeah.
off.
I'm talking about. That's the part when I saw the video and could
Oh, the
hear him.
video's ridiculous.
When I saw it, I was like, "Holy crow, dude!"
The video is absolutely insane.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you got any theories on this, Biscuit?
I think it's all nonsense.
I know what you want to talk about.
I think it's all just like y'all are saying, like entertainment. But I think it's entertainment just from the evils of everybody's freaking. Nobody knows how to do their job. Everybody's inefficient. Everybody's prideful and stupid and evil. And I don't think it was all staged like y'all do. I think Trump's just an idiot. That's why he reacted the way he did. And I think
You better watch it talking about Donald Trump like that.
Whoa.
I think they're all stupid.
Whoa.
But I think it's too far gone, just to be clear. Like, I don't think that I, as a voter, have any impact on what happens to this country in the next 20 years unless I join a revolution. I don't think I'm going to impact anything. So I just don't care. I don't care. I don't want people to die, and I don't want the government using people, but it's the way it is. And we as a country have let it go so far that, like what you guys are saying, all this information, y'all are referring to these videos and these pictures and these articles and these things. And we don't even have any way at this point in trusting our media. So all the theories you draw out are coming from, unless you were there or you have an inside source, it's all, you can't trust anything. So I just choose not to care. And I'll spend my time doing things other than reading about the Donald Trump assassination, because life's too short and that's really a waste of my time. I last night I went outside and sat in a chair and watched bats. And that was way better use of my time than taking 2 seconds to think about what actually happened in the Donald Trump assassination.
People's argument to that, though, is that if you don't care, then there will be a point where you can no longer go out and sit and watch your bats, because you're only going to be able to do what you're told to do.
Will you speak for those people? If I do care, what am I supposed to do right now? Other than joining a revolution? What can I do as a U.S. citizen today if I decide to care?
Well, you could run for local office. Ain't that right, Chile? You could run for local office and turn all this around. You could run for Congress.
Sheriff.
Yeah. Could run for Congress and turn all this around, boo-boo. That's people's answer.
Because we know that works.
You can vote.
Well,
and Chile, will you talk about and by the way, I was being sarcastic on all of that, boo-boo.
So you agree that there's nothing we can do?
Short of the one thing that you mentioned at the very beginning that I'm not going to keep repeating on the podcast, because then our channel will go away. But yeah, short of that, yeah, there's nothing you can do. Chile, will you also comment on how people who believe that everything is a conspiracy, they're just as bad as people who believe everything that they're told is true? Please comment on that.
Well, yeah, I will say that no, man, it's crazy how people will disagree with this, and that's fine. I don't care what people agree with or disagree with, but you just further prove the point of who you really are. So to me, it's becoming where there's two factions of people, maybe three, but the third is such a small group. There's people who believe everything is a conspiracy. There's people who believe everything that the media tells them and everything they hear is true. And there's people that try to look at things logically and take things on a case-by-case basis and look at the evidence and move forward with that. Well, a lot of the people who think everything is a conspiracy, they can't freaking stand the people who fall in line with what the media tells them. They can't stand it. They think, man, you're just a sheep. You're an idiot. Why do you believe what everybody tells you? Well, if you believe everything you're told, there's 0% difference in believing that everything you're ever told is 100% false. Like, people will throw that line out there and say, if the government tells it to you, it's not true. If the news says it, not true.
Yep.
Then you believe what they believe, man. you believe that everything you're told is either true or everything you're told is either not true, then you believe nothing. You don't. It's just you let something else totally dictate what you think.
Which is what people want.
If you just are a hard line, if the news says it's not true, you let the news dictate what you think.
Yep.
Yeah, and the reason that they want one or the other is because the middle ground, which is the truth, involves so much uncertainty and a lack of control, right? Like if you don't either have your conspiracy theories or believe it's all true, what do you know?
It also involves
You don't know anything.
It also involves objective thought, and people don't want to think about things.
Well, how can we use objective thought on, like, the stuff is not given to us in a clear manner. Like, we don't get all the details. So even if you use objective thought,
Well, you have to put together what details you have and then make the most educated assumption.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But what's the point? Like, what's the point of spending an hour and a half of this podcast other than it's fun to guess about what actually happened?
Oh, there's no point.
Right.
Yeah, no.
So
Did you think there was a point to us? It's just because it was fun.
Well, this is what the whole country's doing right now.
Yeah.
It's what everybody's consumed with.
Yeah. That's why we're talking about it on the podcast. Good observation.
You are being a big fat jerk.
No, I am literally agreeing with you.
Mm-mm.
This is me agreeing.
I'm agreeing with you.
Where's the Sharpie?
I would have.
Where's the Sharpie?
I would have much rather sat here and sang. It would have been like, yeah, it would have been much more valuable to sit here and sing Merle Haggard songs for the whole 2 hours.
I mean, I enjoyed listening to it, and I think a lot of people will enjoy listening to it. And I like talking about really useless stuff too. I just don't want the country to just continue spending copious amounts of times on their phone and the computer and the radio and diving into these theories and all this stuff. And it's like, don't spend all your time doing that crap. Like, it's pointless.
Yes, it is absolutely
Like,
pointless. Yes.
It's like a hobby.
Yeah.
Like, do it for a minute, a couple little bit of the day, and then go back to your regular life. Don't become consumed.
This is why I wanted a human skull. None of you have.
What?
You guys have yet. No one has sent me a human skull yet. All right. You guys send me gold. You send me books. You send me guitars. You send me all this stuff, which I appreciate. I like some of my books I like, and I like receiving gold. If you want to send me gold, please send it. I love my guitar over here. We got to use it this morning. But if you really want to send me something that will make me happy, please send me a human skull.
Where can they send it?
Where can they send that skull to?
307 Project,
Is
P.O. Box 454, Rome, Georgia 30162.
Thank you.
I feel like that's against the law. You can't ship.
Oh, you can buy a skull off the internet.
Bone room.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
Oh yeah.
Y'all are lying.
Yeah, you sure
You're
can.
not putting a freaking skull in our house, just so you know.
Oh
you can-
gosh,
Thank you,
here we
bro.
go. Superstition
bro.
again.
You can keep it.
Thank you, Brooke.
Yes, you can keep it in this office, and it can freaking haunt. You can keep it in the dungeon with corn.
Superstitious
I'll bash
people
that
again,
thing,
man.
Throw that thing out in the dang parking lot.
Yeah, you're not bringing that in my house.
Andy's world said, does the skin need to be removed?
Yeah, it needs to be cleaned.
Whoa,
Yeah,
Bubba.
it needs to be cleaned up, man.
This is
I want my skull because I want it to be a reminder to all of you that you are passing away, and that this country is passing away, and that this entire world is passing away. And you don't need me to tell you that. Science will tell you that if you choose to worship science. Science is telling you this world is passing away. It all is. And your only hope, the only hope that I have found in this world is in the gospel of Jesus Christ, our Lord, the creator of all that is. That is the only hope that I have found in this world, because the God that we serve is never changing. And he loves us with such a perfect love that he provided his only begotten son to die on our behalf, so that we can die with him. And then he rose him from the dead so that we can be resurrected with him and be made a new creature with a new heart that can respond to our Creator. And because Christ died on our behalf, because of our wickedness, we have been justified and reconciled back to our Creator. And so that is my hope. Nothing other than that.
We just
It's going to
went
stand the test.
from Donald Trump assassination conspiracy theories to talking about someone please ship you a human skull to a short bit of really wonderful preaching. That was intense. Those transitions were intense
Yep.
for me.
Well, that's 37 Podcast is an intense podcast. I can't believe we don't have the biggest podcast on the air. No one has a better podcast than us. No one. Flat out. No one has a better podcast than we
agree.
have.
I agree.
I mean, I'm not just saying that because it's my podcast. Legitimately, there's not a better podcast that's ever been produced than the 3 to 7 podcast.
What do you think makes this the best podcast out there?
It's just so good.
Hmm.
It's just so dang good. All right, Blake, what we got? Buddy.
We got a few super chats here. The first one is from Marty Bingham, coming in at $9.99.
Thank you, Marty.
To
Overall,
follow up
Marty.
on last week's conversation, I can let the top down on my overalls like a convertible.
Well, you better be glad, Marty.
And then he said, however, comma, and that's the end of it. There may be another one coming. Marty
He
does
don't-
that sometimes.
however, he don't have a flap in the buttocks, and he's gonna need it.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
You
Mhm.
better fix him, Bubba.
Yep.
We had Caleb Sheets, $4.99. I have to know, did wallet number 37 get signed? P.S. The hag would be proud of that opener. Love y'all.
Merle Haggard.
Yep. Thank you for that, buddy. And no, number 37 did not sell before midnight.
Nope.
It did not sell before
It
midnight.
has sold.
It has sold, but didn't meet the stipulations that I put forth. Good job, guys, you freaking turds.
Cody Bryant, $10. For cornbread, some arm floaties, and antibacterial soap after swimming lessons.
There you go.
Was he gonna send those to you, cornbread?
No, we're
Oh,
we're
that's
gonna buy
what
them.
that $10 is
Yeah.
for. Okay.
No,
All right.
you see, yeah. Well,
We'll
see, you
take care of
see,
that.
whoever sent that, Cody. You see what happens. Chad didn't realize he was just pocketing that money. He didn't know that was supposed to go to cornbread.
We had Zachary Ainsworth, $2. Great song, Chad. Please don't quit your day job.
Man, we're still on the song. Thank you, Zachary.
We had Numba Juan Mexicano,
Hmm.
$4.99. Hola, amigos. Maybe I stinky Mexican, but I know have low testosterone like Chile. Gracias, amigos, for el podcast.
So, did you call him Noomba? I believe that's number one.
No,
Number one.
no, it's Numba Juan.
Why does all the if you look at Mexican language, if you look at the Mexican language, it's just the English language with O on everything. I mean, you ride down it's so stupid. You ride down the daggone road, you go into the park, and there's a sign that says drinking prohibited, and then under it in Mexican it says Drinko prohibido. it's just the same freaking language with an O on the end of every word. Stinking
Wow.
Mexicans, man.
We had Chili Jr., $1.99. I thought you loved me. How could you?
Things is about to change for Chili Jr.
Yeah, Chili
boy.
Jr. You're
Wait till this
screwed,
weekend.
man.
Chili
Whoa.
picks you
Now,
up.
okay. Don't air out family stuff on the podcast, Chili Jr. I've kept everything close to the vest, and now you donate money. My money, by the way. Yeah, I know it's your chore money, but it's my money ultimately that you use to air out our laundry out here, man.
Chili Jr.
So freaking grounded.
Tamasita Rod,
Oh my gosh. Here we go. Where's all these Mexicans coming from, man?
$10. We have a new baby rooster, and we named him Chili. My husband and I watch every video. Love your channel.
Oh,
How wonderful.
what a legacy.
You know, Mexicans love fighting chickens.
Oh yeah,
They love
Hey.
to fight chickens.
yeah, yeah. They love them big time.
Chili
you for that.
Jr. $1.99. You didn't even invite me.
He didn't. He didn't invite us either, Chili
Yeah.
Jr. So don't be upset.
Yep.
Chili Junior.
Eric Dermanalian, $20. Just dropping by to show some love. We'll be listening later. Hashtag basic team 27.
Dang, thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
Didn't you say Chili Junior was just writing no over and over again?
When he first heard the news.
Yeah.
Alyssa Carroll, $1.99. Congratulations, Chili. Praying for y'all.
Thank you, Alyssa.
Thank you, Alyssa.
Marty Bingham, $9.99. Super chat won't let me post the second message about my overalls. Maybe because I used the words butt crack.
Well, you just used the words butt crack.
Right.
The crap, Marty.
Chili Jr., $1.99. Does she come with fruity pebbles?
Man, Chili Junior was going off the rails. wasn't he? No.
Chili Jr.'s finest day.
Robert Lee, not E.
Robert D. Lee.
$20. God invented marriage. What a great invention. We've been married since 2012. So thankful for my wife. Without trying, I see the glory of my God. Having children made me find rest on my knees and my bow to God. True rest.
Thank you, Robert Lee.
Zach Ainsworth, $2. Psalm 127:5.
Thank you, Zach.
Robert, $20. The God of heaven gazes upon this little blue ball. He looks deep into the souls of his children. When you have kids, you come to understanding his love for you. It is amazing. And if Brooke wants kids, you just say, yes, ma'am.
Whoa.
Oh yeah. If Brooke ever wanted children, I would have a child with Brooke. She wanted that. I'll have
Caroline,
a child with you, boo boo.
Caroline, $9.99. Speaking of marriage, my fiance and I are having our wedding in November in Utah. Y'all want to come? Chili, I hope you're enjoying the Bojangle shirt we got you.
Oh my goodness, that's Caroline. Oh
Yeah.
man, that I wear the Bojangle shirt all the time, and congratulations to y'all getting married in November. Now, Blake is trying to set up this month-long paddle trip that would probably conflict with that. Now,
Well, you're probably not going on that.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, Caroline, I've gotten through my entire life, and I've only had to attend 2 weddings, and I plan to stop there unless Chili has a formal wedding. I'll go to that and be in that. But three's it. So I'm not gonna be there, Caroline. But thank you for the invitation.
yeah, thank you, Caroline. Man, that shirt's sweet.
Chili Dog, $9.99. Is water baptism required for salvation? If it is not required, but someone believes it, have they created the false gospel? Since it would be adding a work to salvation. Just wanting your thoughts.
Yeah, being baptized is something you do after you receive the gift of salvation, and it's an act of obedience to what Christ asked us to do.
Caleb Sheets, $4.99. Buy Biscuit her own mic.
Thank you, Caleb.
We can only run 4 mics off of this machine, man. If one of y'all daggone super chatters, or look, somebody send me a whole nother Rodecaster Pro into the daggone PO box, and I'll put another mic in here. That daggone board right there is $600, man. Good night. Y'all know we're poor around here. Y'all act like we're just made of money. We're the poorest daggone people you probably even know. Y'all think we got all this daggone money, man. No dang money to buy stuff like that. Gosh, go ahead, Blake.
Little Virgil, 99
What's wrong with you
cents
people?
with a black mustache.
Little
There
Virgil.
you go.
Thank you.
He getting serious now.
Thank you.
Willie Jenkins, $5. What are the odds that it was a coordinated effort to get a non-lethal pot shot to launch the perfect photo op and lock in the throne?
We already talked about that, Willie. That's what
Well,
we
yeah,
talked
he
about.
sent it before we
Right.
talked about it.
Well, Willie, you should have been listening. You should have knew. You should have known that we were going to talk about that, Willie.
Thank
Can
you
I-
for the
yeah,
super
say
chat.
something.
Willie gave money.
Well, that I'm not for sale, boo boo. Willie knew we were going to talk about that. And not.
Willie come back in at $5. He said, I've seen better theatrics in George Lucas movies from 5 decades ago.
I don't know, Willie. It was pretty good. It was pretty dang good.
David G, 1999. Greetings from the land of puds and turds in Maryland. Thanks for the great podcast. Love
Wow.
y'all. Hoping to get on Patreon soon. Looking forward to Resurrected.
Thank you, brother.
We had Barry Tavis come in at 99 cents.
Tavis.
Thank you,
It's
Tavis.
about like somebody to give 99 cents named Tavis.
Manfred Kampf, $20. Great show.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, Manfred.
Robert, $10. Blake, I thought there was a firecracker in the lips of Trump's hat. Cause the Secret Service left Trump's shoes, but picked up the hat.
I wonder what them shoes would be worth.
Oh,
Whoever's got them shoes, son.
I want them.
I mean, if you put them things on, I bet Trump got it by the size 15 foot.
Memorabilia.
You put them shoes on eBay, man.
eBay.
Is eBay
Chili,
still
what's
a
this
thing?
sign?
Come on now, Blake.
I don't know.
This guy gave 10 something. I don't know what that money sign is.
Well, just call it something. Denary.
10 quid.
I think it's euros.
Yeah, quid.
Blake don't know what it is.
No.
Look,
Really
get on with the show, man. Good
enjoy
gosh.
the truck talks. Thank you for sharing your perspective.
You're welcome, buddy. Thank you for tuning in.
That was T.
It's a euro. You're right.
Yeah, it's a euro.
Thank you, man.
Dang, he was right.
Numrods.
He just guessed.
Get on with the darn show, man.
Dr. Phil's eyebrows coming in at $1.99. He said, you guys are high.
No, we're not. Dr. Phil's eyebrows.
Sober as
So,
a gopher.
I tell you what, buddy, you want to come on my show and give me money and call me high? I can tell you what you could do with your head, son. You can go stick it where the sun don't shine. You want to come on my show and call me high?
Dude.
Say it again.
Dude, what a line that is. I can
Say it
I-
again.
I can tell you what you do with your head.
Say it
You have a little dang respect, man.
Tell you what you do with them eyebrows, too.
I don't reckon you'd tell me that to my face, would you? Freaking internet.
James Wright coming at $1.99.
Pipe dream.
He said, Trump is tougher than woodpecker lips.
There you go.
All right, then.
Sean Wright coming at 20 pounds. He said, I've got $217.92 in US dollars worth of merchandise in my cart. Just waiting for Turd Brain to switch on international shipping. God bless y'all.
Well, I will say that
Oh, yeah. Wasn't that supposed to happen this week?
once
It
internet
keeps- yeah, it's like
No,
when
no, no,
Corn
no.
orders his tires, he'll
What?
order international shipping.
once international shipping is reinstalled, Sean Wright will be blocked.
No, I like Sean.
Well, I do too, but
like
I'm not
Sean.
going to allow him to order anything from the store. He'll have to do that through another
I'll
a
come.
neighbor.
I want to go see Sean one day.
He'll have to do that through a neighbor because I ain't
Jethro
sending nothing to him.
Lincoln, $20. Welcome to a man's brain.
All right, appreciate that, Jethro.
Little Virgil, $1.99 with the suitcase emoji.
Little Virgil, I thought you went hands free.
He's been commenting this whole time that he's not real and that everybody else, some of the other people are real, but he ain't. And that you feel fear is real, but it actually ain't.
Yeah, he's been going big today.
Yeah. We had Muscled Up Runner Greer, $9.99. Great podcast. God bless and love you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Muscled Up Runner.
Thank you, Steve.
Red Lightning, $1.99. Can I get some advice on hiking with the GPS, Chili?
What?
Hiking with a well, I don't
It's
have
kind
much.
of a laughing face with like the sweat coming off his.
Yeah.
That mate, was that somebody who's on the rock?
What was his name?
Red Lightning?
Yeah.
I don't know. It might be. Oh, yeah, it must have been on the right course because Chili got us lost. Yeah, Red Lightning must be somebody that was on the rock course this
Yeah.
past weekend.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Davis. Blake always says his name
Oh,
wrong.
Weingart?
Davis Weingart. It's Davis Weiniger. and
Okay.
he was
Wine
on the rock course, and he changed his name,
I
and he's
guarantee
got a
that's what it
red
is.
beard, so
Yeah.
it probably is Red Lightning.
Yeah.
We may have just uncovered the mystery.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
A real sneaky snake, you know.
dang, son.
I don't know if that is Davis Weiniger, but if it is or isn't,
Well, I don't think it is. I think it is, but I think it's Davis Weingar.
no, it's Weiniger.
So we had Garrett come in at $19.99. Always keep it intense. Never change. Love you all.
Thank you, Garrick.
We had Manfred Kampf at $10. Waiting for Florida Manfred to ship my wallet north. Agreed. Best podcast. Highlight of my week. God bless you all.
Love you, Manfred.
Hey, dude, how did you miss Red Lightning's super chat for $99.99?
We hadn't got there yet,
Yeah,
but we'll go ahead and hit it.
Garrick, thank you.
Now go read it, Blake.
When my wife and I feel like we want kids,
No, announce
Hold
who
on,
it
no,
was.
we go
no.
spend some time with my nieces and nephews, and that gets us by for a few months. LOL. Way to end with good word, Chad.
No,
Red Lightning, $99.99.
Good God! Holy crap!
We had another Red Lightning for 99 cents.
There you go.
Chile.
James Henson, $1.99.
Thank you, James.
CC Pino, $4.99. God bless you all from San Francisco. God bless America. Love and prayers to you and yours.
Thank you,
San
CC.
Francisco, boy.
James Henson, $4.99. Cornbread, any cheaper of a hunting guide than Chad?
No. No.
You actually a little
You
higher,
tell
ain't
him.
you?
Yeah, I'm hiring Chad.
Because you
I'm-
got guaranteed success.
Yeah, I'm Turkey champion.
I don't even-
Undefeated, as a matter of fact.
I don't.
As a matter of fact.
I don't even guide hunts anymore. Freaking teach swimming lessons.
Willie Jenkins, $5. Woodpecker Lips, 2024.
Thank you, Willie.
Oops. 1999.
Thank you, buddy.
Brett Hughesby, $1.99. Cornbread looking good, man. Arms looking jacked.
Thank you, Brett.
Thank you, Brett. He is looking good.
Cornbread.
Cornbread's my.
I did notice your arms are looking bigger.
Yeah, I did. I noticed
Me
that
too,
today.
Corn.
So
They're
why is that?
huge.
Have you changed something at the gym?
No.
Just still CrossFit?
Yeah.
What's going to your arms? It's kind of ticking me off.
Cornbread's strong, man.
The last one. Jason Rutz, $4.99.
Thank you, Jason.
Checking in from Black Hills. Y'all do good work. Keep it up.
Thank you, buddy.
Jason.
Well, thank you, all you guys, for tuning in. All you guys that joined in on the super chat. We love your comments. We're glad to be able to enlighten you today on what's actually going on.
Reality.
Share the show, man. Love you guys. Enough said.
Because that wasn't weird.